Hi, I've had a bunch of questions from hospitals recently with this coronavirus outbreak. They want to know how they can minimize contact between the doctor and patients. Obviously, doctor has to go in the room for some things, but sometimes they just need to check in and talk and visit with the patient. And one idea I've had is to use Cisco's Webex Teams product to facilitate video audio communication from doctor to patient. Basically, we let the nurse carry in a iPad, iPhone, laptop computer. We've got a Webex Teams client that works on Android, Mac, or PC. So pretty much anything you might have to bring into that room, we've got the client for it. And then the doctor who's sitting outside of the room, maybe on the same floor, maybe at their house, it doesn't really matter, uh, but 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 likely a shared workstation on the same floor. The doctor sits there and can initiate or receive a WebEx meeting call with the nurse's iPad, for instance, and communicate with the patient. So how do we get started with that? If you go to webex.com in a browser, you can find the Start for Free button here, and you can sign up for free with a random email address. If it's your personal email address, that's fine. We're not going to charge you now. We're not going to charge you in the future for this. Could be the doctor's email. The nurse could use their personal email. It'd be better to use their company email. If you have a legitimate company account, then there are a lot of advantages for reporting and policy and control. But even with this free version, you'll be able to do this in a totally secure, safe manner. So sign up for your account and download the clients that you would use on the particular devices that you would have in your situation. So here is the WebEx Teams client running on my Mac, my office computer. And on the left side, I have a bunch of spaces, and a space is just a meeting room for groups of people to talk back and forth about various, whatever the title of the space is. Um, and then there's another concept that I want to jump into, and that's team. So on the left side, little icon, a circle with three circles here. If I click on that, I see a bunch of teams, and a team is a hierarchical construct. Like Ace Preview here is a grouping of spaces. So each of these spaces is a group with a bunch of people communicating about various topics that all have something relevant to Ace Preview. They all fall under Ace Preview. So why do I tell you all that? It's because um, I created a team, and it's easy to do. You just hit the plus sign up here, and I created a team. Let's see if I can find it here, called Facility One Televisit. There it is, right in the middle. I'm going to go into that teams and look at the spaces. There's always a general space, you can't get rid of it. But I added new spaces, first floor A, first floor B, second floor, third floor. Within that space, I have, you see messages back and forth between the two people that are members of this space. So maybe those two people on this third floor, facility one, maybe those two people are the doctor and the nurse that are teaming together to cover the patients on that particular floor. So doctor walks in, sits down, hopefully at a general shared workstation on the floor, and it's already logged in. So all the doctor does is go to facility one, third floor, if that's where doctor's sitting. You can see the messages. Maybe there's messages back and forth between the previous shift's doctor and the nurses about various patients on that floor. In any case, the nurse might get all gowned up and walk into the patient room with the device and say, I'm ready for a visit with Charles. So now the doctor knows the nurse is ready and the patient's name is Charles. All the doctor has to do, or the nurse, either end can do this, is hit this button in the upper right-hand corner that looks like a little camera on a hand. It's called Meet. That will launch WebEx meetings, and it will launch it on whoever clicked the button. It launches it immediately on their machine, and then all the other people in the space, their device will ring. And when they hit answer, they will immediately be brought into a WebEx meeting. They don't sign in, they don't have to log in, they don't have to download a client, load it, just boom, pops up, and they're in a meeting. If you hit start meeting now, um, uh, there would be a video call between these two people, which I'm not going to do. Once the meeting is finished, we're back to messages. The nurse is ready to walk into the next patient room. When they're good and ready, we hit the button again. Boom. We start the meeting again, and we're ready to talk with that patient. You get the idea. Now, if you wanted to, maybe just temporarily, but you could, as a doctor or a nurse, click on people here, add people, and you could add a family member. It doesn't matter that they don't belong to your hospital staff. Anyone can be added. In this case, they would download the free WebEx Teams client, and when you hit meet, they would, boom, be joined into the meeting. You could create a space here that was just between the patient and family members and let them communicate on the side. It doesn't. It's up to you who gets put into these spaces and who can communicate with each other. So very easy to use, very open, and very secure. Everything is encrypted end to end. It's a safe way to make this happen. All these messages are stored forever in encrypted format. So even though you have free account, you can go back and see these messages and they're stored safely. So I guess that's it. I would imagine you would have questions on uh, things like single sign-on or more details on the paid versions, and I can answer those questions in the question section below. If you have any, just let me know. But I hope this helps and gives you some ideas to think about using WebEx Teams as your go-to spot.